feels like as well in these series, because we've had 100% blue side win rate so far. OMG on the blue side again. Senna, the Ahri, and the Gwen banned away. EDG ban away the Zeri, the Wukong, and the Sylas.
This is an interesting one because this is similar to the first game draft, except this time Viego is left open for the Sylas. OMGs take the Viego outright. EDG can answer with Lee Sin for Jiejie, or they can go towards the Vi again. They have some options, so they can look to prioritize different areas. A lot more AD carries open than we saw in the previous draft, for example, where we went in the second rotation, things got thinned out. But it looks like for now, EDG might just lock in that Lee Sin.
Would be a nice, at least trendsetter in terms of what the composition could be looking like for EDG. I obviously would love to see Jiejie on the Lee Sin. They'll switch to the Gnar and then the Lee Sin.
I've seen insane Gnar priority, and if anyone's unclear, with the durability changes, one of Gnar's weaknesses is when he's in mini, he's squishy. He's now more durable, and also his percentage HP with his W in mini, which is obviously a lot more effective. So one of the reasons we are seeing a ton more off the Gnar, and with Sylas banned, no concern about getting your ult stolen. So we look at
yes! The dragon is back!
Okay, you're facing into a Shyvana, who obviously we can see has become a mega tank. You're facing into Corki, and it looks like Azir is the play. I talked a little bit about this after game one. Azir into the Shyvana. You have percentage HP damage if you go Leandries. You have the ult to push her away and make things difficult. EDG can obviously go for a comp a bit better at dealing with Shyvana. Last time Shyvana was picked in that game one, it was the 5th pick for OMG on blue side. So EDG were kind of already like committed to the comp.
Yeah.
This time a bit more flexibility. But no AD carries or supports picked up in this draft. Kind of reminiscent of game two. And we see once again the heavy AD carry bans will start to fight through. Samira denied specifically from Abel as something he's exceptionally proficient on.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would expect maybe even 3 on each side. Just kind of dwindled down that pool even more so. Obviously, supports had a lot to do with these games so far, though. I think Meiko and Cold have been the underlying, I guess, assassins at this point, because they have found so many crucial engages for either side in both of their wins. The Nautilus joins the Samira for EDG on the ban table.
Yeah, so actually removing that support as well. And this is something that, you know, Meiko played game one, Abel played the next game. Very effective at sort of setting up that CC, that initial engage, picking off individual targets. And we'll see what EDG up to go for here. They could go for the Ezreal in this situation for Viper. Does offer that extra bit of mobility to help you deal with the Shyvana. I won't lie, I don't think Ezreal's going to be exactly the best at cutting through a Shyvana. But if you're able to kite her, that can be the more important factor, and you can allow your team to get a position to respond.
That's the biggest thing, right? Because I think if you have the kiting factor and you're able to just like kite Shanji away from the fight even and just buy time, you feel confident for EDG that you can handle the rest of the fight.
Yeah, you just don't want to get run down. And here's where there's a bit of an issue, because Ezreal would have been great for OMG. Abel's comfortable on it. It would have fit well with a comp. Now they're looking between Trist and Kai'Sa, neither of which are really exceptional, I feel. They're good into Ezreal, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'll run this back a little bit. They're good into Ezreal, but you don't have support matchup counter pick. So depending on what Cold picks here, we could see Meiko go with something that's able to mitigate whatever Cold picks. So we'll see what ends up coming out. If you go with something too passive, then Meiko can pick something to outscale. If you go something aggressive, you can pick something defensive. The one thing is they don't have Lissandra anymore, so they actually go for a Yuumi. So this is the thing, is that like if you pick like Leona, they will take Braum in return. You pick the Yuumi, so you pick the super scaling pick, not expecting pressure. But the problem is Meiko will just take Karma. Karma doesn't necessarily outscale the Yuumi, but this is a hard lane to play, right? Because they will just focus poke onto the Tristana. You know, the extra combat summoners that Yuumi offers doesn't really come into it when you're just getting poked at a lane. And so you're going to end up in a rough time. And now we sort of take stock, right? Top lane, Flandre is going to have priority. Mid lane, Scout is going to have priority over Creme in the early levels until Creme can just burst through waves when he gets rockets and a bit more damage. And then bot lane, Abel and Cold are going to get bullied, like to an extreme degree. So
not a lot to work with for OMG.
Yeah, I think Aki is the one who's going to suffer the most, because Jiejie should be able to take over this game. That being said, EDG, you know, the composition doesn't exactly have the most fantastic engage, and there's a lot of scaling elements on OMG that can look to get into the later stages. The fact you have Yuumi, Shyvana, like think about how broken that Shyvana was. Stick a Yuumi on it, right?
Yeah.
Now how are we feeling?
Yeah, it's gonna be feeling real good, I would say. And you can obviously see a little bit of fun, a little bit of lightheartedness on the side of OMG, but I think that's important going into this final game, and especially for OMG to pilot this composition, because I was honestly kind of interested. We didn't see the Braum for the side of OMG, but they go with the Enchanter. They go with this, as you said, really not having any agency, and now they've got to pretty much leave Aki up to deciding their fate and figuring out what the early game's going to look like. We've seen, some early focuses to objectives as well. That's going to be very hard for OMG to deal with if EDG decide to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I think if we had a team like RNG who had the red side draft, I would be really convinced they would just take this game. The lane pressure would be too much. You'll take over the map. Game's over, right? The EDG have been very messy. And kind of relying on their mechanical proficiency in team fights to bring them back into games. I don't know. If they start flubbing this game, right? Let's say OMG gets some early dragons. We saw them put heavy prio in that game 1 on the dragon to get the armor and resist for Shanji. If you start relying on dragon fights to come out ahead in this game, the package is going to be difficult to play around. Tristana with Yuumi could have some free range. Shyvana we saw was an absolute beefcake. It could just all get very, very messy.
And as we hit the rift for the final time of the day, the grand finale. Got fireworks aplenty, maybe a bonfire for Aux, but here we are, OMG versus EDG. EDG on the red side again. We've had 100% win rate for blue side so far. 100% Ocean sold, and it will not be so. Maybe the curse is just broken at this point as we have an Ocean Dragon first on this rift. But it's, again, all about the early pathing for both these junglers, keeping an eye on where the resources will be dealt.
And I have a little tidbit for you, Mazel.
What's up?
Did you know that one of these champions on the rift has a 100% win rate so far in the summer split?
No way.
And
who could it possibly be?
It's the Shyvana.
Oh, that's out of left field.
Earlier today, he's managed to pick up that 1 rate. If you didn't catch the game earlier, Shanji played this in game 1 and he was immortal. I'm not sure if it's going to go in a similar direction in this one, simply because here we have a lot more tools to potentially deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is now EDG get a second crack at figuring out the Shyvana, figuring out what to do on stage with it. But it's a different look from OMG all around when you look compositionally as well.
Yeah, I think ultimately they've been given more space. Like the problem was before it came very late in the draft. OMG knew they couldn't leave it till late in the draft because they get banned out. And so it gave more space for EDG to respond and then adapt in this situation, and adapt they have. So one thing to say is that Lee Sin normally likes a lot of setup in his lanes. We don't really have that. As much as I said Lee Sin should be in control because he has the prio, like you don't have easy CC setup. Normally you're looking for like, a stun. Obviously Flandre has it in Mega. Meiko has the root if someone overextends, but it's just not really going to be expected.
Yeah, I guess it's a lot about this the early trading breakdown, as you had kind of mentioned in the draft, right? Looking at a lot of the pressure that EDG can have in the lanes and where Jiejie decides to go with that. As we see, it's full clear for Aki on OMG side, where get a little skipping camp the Krug, obviously a little bit harder to reach for Jiejie on the red side. But I'm sure he'll be going about the same way and try to pressure down towards this Scuttle Crab on bot lane while Meiko and Viper have so much presence in the bottom.
Yeah, I think this is the thing is really, they end up on the same side of the map. You actually see pings already coming out from Aki going up towards that top side scuttle because he knows that there's no chance of securing this. Honestly, Jiejie should look to get both scuttles in this situation.
Would be interesting. He's actually going to go for some pressure bottom lane here. Jiejie is, as it's a I don't think there's an easy way to approach this, especially at the level 3 mark, the rocket jump and everything for Jiejie. So he'll back off this time around. We do see the Scuttle Crab secured by Aki, so no double scuttle this time.
Which is as much as you can hope for as Aki, right? If you're keeping him up, not getting denied both scuttles, that's fine. As you can see, the lanes are playing out in the manner expected. Scout's able to dictate mid, Flandre dictating top, bot lane dictated by the Ezreal and the Karma. And ideally, this is what you can sort of use to lead into things like the neutral objectives, like the Dragon, like the Herald as well, by having first move on it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think that's just going to be how really EDG want to set up the game. And it's about having a clean one, not giving opportunities for OMG to make it back into it, because especially there's a lot of resets as well when you think about it. Aki has the resets, Trist has the resets. If you start flubbing in a fight, it can quickly fall out of control. And bear in mind, outside of the Gnar, a lot of squishy champions on either side of EDG can get bursted.
I guess that's a way to approach it, because for me, I'm always looking like, how do OMG secure an advantage at least? Because right, Shanji got a little bit of gold in the first game of the series, and it just snowballed with the Shyvana. And you can see Aki has a lot of the same idea coming to top lane now, as he might be able to find Flandre. Flandre will have the flash, does use it, and does have the hop, but he doesn't get the double, and this could just be it. First blood for OMG.
That's the thing, if you have triple prio lanes, then any lane is set up for a gank. Flandre gets chased down, and we've seen this before. You're accelerating the Shyvana can make all the difference. We'll see on the opposite side of the map. EDG might look towards this first dragon as a response, but, you know, giving that gold over to OMG, not how you want to start the game.
It's I'm not saying we're getting reminiscent from first game. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be different this time for EDG. It's gonna be different. It's not gonna be a scary dragon. We do see a lot of movement here on the bottom lane, though, as Aki transitions down to the bottom side. EDG's bottom lane trying to move up, at least Meiko is, with the poke that is there, with the karma, the mobility that is there. But there won't be a response while OMG start up the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, Shanji even actually resets to come over. This is, I mean, we saw this in the previous game, but like, Shanji is so like, I won first dragon. I will walk down and my team will take it. It is like, we are getting that first dragon. I need that extra 5 armor and MR, and then he'll TP back up top lane. He's happy, he got his resistances, he got what he wanted, and OMG secure first dragon. And I have some news for you, Mazel.
What's up?
We got 5 in a row, 5 Ocean Souls in a row, but this game will not be an Ocean Soul. We're gonna change the scenery.
Yeah, I said it at the beginning of the game, seeing it as the first dragon. I was really excited that we actually get a change to the break. Maybe that means that red side will win one time.
Yeah, we were having some audio issues with our feed, so I was trying to fix that, which is why I missed that. Sorry, dude.
We had to get the resets off. It's all fine, though. But that means that we're now perfectly in position to watch the rest of this game. See, everything's fine now. I will say it's still getting a little bit scary in terms of at least CS differential on the top side of the map. I think that's going to continue to be so, as we were saying in the draft, right? Like, this is how it worked out until Shanji got the lead that he got. And at this point, I would say Aki is not going to be just able to go anywhere he wants, right? I think he's still going to need a little bit of time to set up and wait for these lanes to really have influence in some way, shape, or form.
I'm going to say something to note is that bot lane has been going far better than I expected it would be. Like, Abel hasn't had prio share, but like the Trist Yuumi have kept even in CS. They're chilling, right? And top lane is, as you said, a sizable CS lead. But when Shanji gets like Bami Cinder, which is very cheap, starts completing like his mythic item, it just means that he can obliterate waves quite quickly. And Flandre can't just freely step up to him in case he risks getting engaged on. And that's kind of the point. Like, already you can see how quickly he kind of burns through the waves, but add the Bami Cinder and they will just, it's like one combo, boom, whole wave's gone. And you shouldn't be denied any CS, really.
Look at this aggression, though. I thought Jiejie might be looking for a little bit more, as Scout was on his way as well, but it'll be quick movements from OMG's mid and top to get in position, as Rift Herald is on the table for EDG.
Yeah, I think EDG need to be getting this. I think if they don't get this, it's pretty devastating. But OMG, like, you can give this over. Look at your bot lane. You have Tristana, Yuumi pushing up to the tower.
Dragon's Descent.
You don't need to die for this.
Gnar is almost up for Flandre. Yeah, I would say they're just posturing for a little bit of pressure. Make sure, you know, EDG can't just...
I think the pivotal thing with that play is making sure that EDG have to move the bot lane up. They have to move the bot lane up. If Viper starts to move down as soon as he knows it's a sure thing and he sees Abel. Oh.
I can't see what's going on the screen right now, so I'm going to try to reset my feed so I can hopefully find that out.
Mazel, I think you lagged out a bit. Okay, I don't know if Mazel can hear me.
I'm just going to keep talking. I just can't see what's happening in the game right now. I am now reloaded in, though, and I see that Abel is trying to set up a little bit of something.
Yeah, I think you lagged out because you lagged out on Discord as well. Like, you just cut off.
Hooray for remote broadcasting.
Yeah, they are looking for an opportunity here.
It's all the fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, we got the satchel charge. At least a little bit of damage onto Abel returned. A big true shot barrage back, but Aki was just a tiny bit late.
Yeah, a lot burn from both sides. The flash is the longest cooldown for Viper, but, you know, they still have flash and Meiko, they still have heal, whereas exhaust, ignite, and cleanse used from OMG. I think Abel was trying to maybe find an angle to ult Meiko backwards, but doesn't overcommit into the play. And for now, we'll fish for actually another opportunity.
Keep on going. Rocket jump in, but it's Abel putting down damage onto Viper. Viper falls. Get the healing back, and OMG, throw up those thumbs up.
Finds a nice window, and you know, Trist into Ezreal works. My concern was the support matchup. If it ends up being Braum into Nautilus again, or Braum into Leona, then EDG can easily just mitigate that. But in this situation, we see, you know, an Ezreal with a Karma. The Karma can only really offer shielding, can't disrupt the Tristana from getting on the Ezreal, and Abel making it work with the Yuumi attached. We do see Scout go for that shuffle, but a Valkyrie from Creme keeps him safe.
Easy peasy. It's going to be a big ult to use. It'll be about quarter way done with cooldown now, though, so not too shabby. Jiejie shows in mid lane as Meiko also on a roam. They'll go ahead and pop the Rift Herald in mid lane, though. So that'll be a couple plates for Scout and some more scaling for the Azir.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, and getting Mid Tower is really important, don't get me wrong. But you don't really get to capitalize on this until second Herald, because chances are with the Corki in the mid lane, they'll just he'll clear the waves endlessly. You shouldn't get free time to finish off this tower unless OMG mess up. So we'll see if they're able to pan out on that one, or if EDG needs to lean on the second Herald. For the time being, Dragon is spawning soon. We'll see if either team opts to heavily invest into it. You can see Jiejie is fishing around for an opportunity. And obviously, you'd love to be able to secure the second Dragon and try and deny the soul stacking from OMG.
They're here in response, though, as they'll be clearing out some of the vision behind the pit. And Jiejie pulls the Dragon out, at least, as Scout's on his way here. They're also pulling Flandre here. OMG will be taking a lot of the forefront damage of the Dragon until it gets the reset up, but they're just buying time until the entire team of EDG can show up here for the Dragon fight.
Yeah, looks like, you know, we knew the prior from Dragons
We're
were coming with Shanji and
5v5.
Shyvana. We're getting a 5v5 already. Package is there for Creme, though. That's the big factor.
It is huge, as Flandre, speaking of huge, about to get Gnar. Package comes across. Dragon goes to OMG. Final chapter connects onto Jiejie. He goes over the wall. That's huge, though. They get away. You'll take that over giving lives and just the Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, OMG got the Dragon. They got what they wanted and they get out. And now it's going to be a Cloud Soul, which I think OMG is probably, EDG is probably happiest with that. If it was Hextech on Mountain, you'd be really concerned. Mountain on the side of OMG would be pretty big. I think Hextech would probably be the worst, like the slow effect. Like you saw Shanji just running down the enemy team, Corki rockets as well. I think if Hextech Soul would just end it. The movement speed is still nice for OMG, don't get me wrong, it's solid.
Yeah.
But it definitely could have been worse. But OMG, 2 Dragons in pocket. Extra resist for Shanji, and we already know what an absolute beefcake Shyvana can become.
I just can't believe we actually got that
start.
5v5 setup. Like, I mean, I understand, like, we've set up some of the points that, like, it is really important, but man, we just got a full-on 5v5.
And this is the problem, right? Is because the package, right, makes this very hard to contest, but you've now missed out on the first 2 Dragons. And Corki is weakest in, like, the early game, right? Like, look at his items. He's got, you know, just a grab bag of stuff. But it's going to get to the point where Corki's really strong, and Corki's going to sync up package with every single Dragon. You are now 2 Dragons down, and you know that you're going to have to face into a package every single one from here on out. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have a hard time contesting. So this soul could happen sooner rather than later, and EDG have to work on a solution. The fact they had Prio in all 3 lanes, you have a 20 CS discrepancy mid in favor of OMG.
Oh, again, Creme gets out this time, having to utilize the flash.
But it's a flash to flash. OMG are fine with that one. And it just feels like top's advantage is negligible, not really that much of an issue. Mid is actually behind for EDG. Bot is down because of the kill. Like, EDG are down. They're behind in a game where they had triple prio lanes and needed to make something happen. They just couldn't find it. And I feel like this game is going to get rougher and rougher from here on out as a result. Crossfire Gauntlet completed for Shanji. You have the Yuumi, you have the Tristana, the Corki. You have so much scaling on this composition.
We also saw the first iteration of the Yuumi on the Shyvana with the Dragon's Descent and the final chapter. I mean, it was just a little like foreshadowing to what we'll see, but it is a terrifying fact for EDG to face. Meanwhile, Viper and Meiko keeping a lot of aggression on the bottom lane, just trying to hack away at this turret as much as they can while they can.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said that they do have a better comp for dealing with the Shyvana. Like I talked about, the Rise not being the best at killing her. Azir, who's likely going to go Leandries, will be much more suited. Oh, he has Leandries. But still, it's not exactly positive now. EDG are trying to apply some pressure down bot and make a lean in. In the meantime, we see the Herald being picked up for OMG. So, the positive here is you end up getting the tower, most likely. Shanji's going for heavy trade. Yeah, so you get Fist Tower. You get some gold. Nice, great. Problem is, you know how they used the Herald mid earlier? You're not getting the second Herald. So how are you going to take out that mid tier 1? It's so easy to stall a game out if your mid tier 1 is up. You can see in reverse, look at this pressure coming out from OMG. Like they're not even using Herald. They've already really chunked out that tower. Scout's in a bit of trouble. And I just think the problem is, like, I'm not going to criticize. I think the right play it's a good play from EDG to get the tower at least, rather than nothing. But the fact OMG have gotten, you know, those 2 dragons and that second Herald really puts a lot of pressure onto EDG to make something happen sooner rather than later. The 2-item spike for the Ezreal will be big. I feel like that's kind of the point where you have to try and make things happen. Otherwise, things will get harder and harder.
And let's be real, it's EDG. If anybody's going to step up, it is EDG. Yes, they've had some rough things happen for them this split so far in terms of games, but it's still a positive record. It's still a positive essence for this World Championship team. And I think in these moments, even if we've seen such a one-sided affair in terms of the blue side and everything going against them, even in this early game, it's still, there's a potential. There's always a potential with this team to turn out an incredible performance and win this series.
And this is one where they need the big one. And again, like 5-1's a good scoreline, but we talked about this at the start of this series. EDG will face V5 later this week. They will face Top Esports next week and then RNG in week 7. A lot of games they will struggle to win if they play like this.
They just can't get Creme. He's too quick every time.
Can't pin him down. Yep. So he's able to survive, and now pressure comes out mid. They're just going to Herald to take the mid tier 1, and it's gone.
Go ahead and take this. Dragon spawning in about 12 seconds as well. The charge will come out. No real defense to be had because it's just going to be automatically gone. And Shanji, perfect timing, has the Dragon's Descent. We'll see the back coming out from Creme. It looks like EDG will actually just get this one. They're too quick on the ball. They'll burn it down. Unless...
he could try and steal. No, he won't get it.
I like the package shout out though. Final chapter, Dragon's Descent in. Abel on the side there, TPing. Creme is coming with the package. The Heartbreaker as well. And now the recess for Aki. They still have a tower though. Is the package going to be enough to do this? You still have a lot of time on the Dragon's Descent, but they'll back away. The timing just a little bit off for OMG.
I think we just got a taste there, Mazel, a taste of what this dragon can do. And Shanji with the Yuumi on top jumps into 5 people with the confidence.
Still
Meiko, you might be left behind.
Scouts just used the Emperor's Divide to help kill Abel. Everything is chaotic at this point, but OMG take advantage of the chaos, take this outer tower, even if they did lose their ADC.
Absolutely just goes crazy there. Now OMG pushing the wave up, managing to get that tower, building up a lead once again. And the fact they lost the dragon isn't a major concern. It just delays the soul, but EDG still miles away. And yeah, this is the taste of what we expect from the Shyvana. EDG just scatter as soon as Shanji comes in, knowing the package is there to follow up.
And it was so
And
forced.
they do a decent job of burning through Shanji, but still, there's 5 people there pumping damage into this dragon, and it just doesn't do enough.
Like, it is an absolute force. Oh, Abel. Oh, Abel. Oh, Abel. It is an absolute force from OMG, though. Like, they were going ham in that moment. They didn't need to go under the towers. They didn't need to continuously fight that one, but they did because they're feeling confident with the composition they have. And I think in the LPL, it's an underlying fact that means so much for a lot of these teams. We will see EDG respond with a tower of their own in mid lane.
So they finally get that mid lane tower, which is something that was obviously weakened by that first Herald, but the state of the game isn't exactly getting better for them. Manamu now picked up for Creme. Viper still working on his, and expect probably the Ludens to come out here from Creme. You know, we have seen a little bit. Well, he has the blasting one, so it must be. See a bit of the Leandries. I kind of prefer the Ludens build. That flat pen makes such a big difference with the bursty rockets, and it's a fact that you don't build much AP on the Corki build, so you don't get the extra
Oh, Emperor's Divide Scout with the big play and the separation. Final chapter is not enough. Aki's resets are not enough. And Cold gets dragged down with the rest of his teammates. That's a quick couple kills for Viper and EDG. They find a potential win here to propel them forward.
And that might be enough. You know, they just found this massive engage from Scout. The problem is it's a little bit too soon. If that was 15 seconds later, maybe, that's Baron. But the problem is Baron is spawning as Aki is up. I don't think they can do it in time. And so the end result is they won't be able to secure that objective. It's a good engage. It's a good pick from EDG. It's all positive. But I just don't think it will be enough due to the timing of it. Just a massive overstep here onto the Dragon, and Scout finds this beautiful shuffle. Gets both of the champions he can hit and gets the extra Yuumi. Buy 2, get 1 free.
A little bit of a deal going on over here, but not a deal that OMG will be very happy about. They'll need to talk to a manager at some point. At this point for EDG, again, a lot of the stuff that I was talking about earlier, where they're never down, they're never out, it's feeling pretty good at this moment, even with the advantages that OMG had found on the Rift.
And we now have the Warmocks coming in for Shanji. I wonder what the itemization. I wonder what the itemization is going to be for Shanji in this one. I feel like a Force of Nature is kind of a given. That item's so strong for reducing the magic damage, and then you can probably just build armor outside of that. Shanji going in solo here, but should just be able to ult out.
Will use the ulti out and does so nicely. He'll turn back around for the aggression as mid lane push for OMG. Feels like they're stalling just a tiny bit, but again, we were talking about scaling aspects for them, and so I think it's all fine in this moment, and as long as they continue to get objective control and especially vision around these objectives against EDG. And now that we see Abel complete the Phantom Dancer there, a little bit of a power spike. Still waiting on that third item though.
Yeah, this will be where Viper is spiking harder than him though, you know, at the 2-item spike with the Essence Reaver and the Manamune. You see Shanji quickly trying to stack up his ult again to be ready for this dragon. It's in 30 seconds now. Creme has TP, so you can reset and TP in once again with the package. But he's trying to get some poke down beforehand. And this is ideal, is you get some poke down on the Corki, you reset, and when you grab the package, it actually recharges your ammunition. So you can just spam rockets and fire off the big one and then come back in for it. But it's 10 seconds till Dragon, so he's got to be quick if he wants to make this work.
Abel is pushing mid lane. He'll come join the team shortly. Aki is on the flank here. We'll spot out Jiejie. Gotta watch out for those Emperor's Divides. The Shurima shuffles coming through from Scout. He's been trying to find him. He's already found one now. But it's all onto the Dragon. It's a fight that you wouldn't expect be life or death in the LPL at this time. But with Shyvana in the game, it absolutely is. Here comes the final chapter. Dragon's Descent not used yet. It will be stolen by Jiejie, though. The Dragon 2 in a row for EDG, and OMG need to run away.
Great smite coming out from Jiejie. Didn't even manage to connect the Sonic Wave to go in on it. OMG, you know, they don't get the Dragon. They just back off. But importantly enough, the package wasn't taken by Creme there. What we could end up seeing is he delays the package till now. They're going for the Baron. I mean, shit, he grabs the package now, but this is a bit of a weird play.
Here it comes. They got the
package.
package.
Just want to fight.
They do just want to fight. Shanji's got Dragon's Descent up and ready to go. He's got everybody in behind him. Aki trying to get around the corner here, but trying to get back into the pit as Baron. This is a flip. Package comes through. Viper is the target. Creme gets Viper.
Creme.
That's huge. Jiejie is now caught out, and OMG have done it. A double kill for Creme. Make it a triple. And Flandre, Meiko, they're the only ones left of the world champions. The Dragon's coming to town, and the Dragon is hungry.
That easy. Just grab package, start the Baron. Creme flies in and decimates EDG, and now the Baron will be their prize. Shit, they didn't get those 2 dragons. I don't think they care.
They do not. They started it up. It got down. They turned. They fought. And now they get it as a prize. OMG are taking EDG to task. And it's incredible. It is the blue side buff. I don't know if it's the Shanji buff, the Dragon buff, whatever it is. But OMG are threatening EDG in this series so heavily.
I mean, this is looking pretty bad for EDG. You're 4K down before the Baron is even being used. Creme is approaching level 16. It's going to be super strong then. And we'll get a replay of how this went down. Viper was already chunked out from the previous Gage, and now this is such a bad spot to be in. He's trapped against the wall, was trapped in his Mystic Shop animation. So yes, he dashes out, but he takes the burn.
Oh,
and
they
Creme just fantastically repositioning. The Yuumi helps keep him alive, and here Scout nearly takes him out, but not quite able to before the heal comes in. And Flandre, he's trapped. He does end up flubbing here and wasting his flash in the end. Not sure what that one was, but regardless,
Scout
OMG,
tried so hard. Scout tried so hard to stop what was happening to his ADC. But it's the crucial catch out. We said in the beginning of this, the big spotlight is on Abel versus Viper, how the teams prop them up to be carries in this situation. And catch outs like that will cause EDG to lose this game.
Now, OMG have to be careful not to overextend. TP flank coming in from Scout.
They have Dragon's Descent again with the final chapter. They have their tools. Abel is a little bit caught out here, but now the resets from the rocket jump are coming through, and Shanji is still ridiculous. EDG just don't have an answer. I don't know what to say at this point. Aki is going golden, survives. The resets coming through, and Shanji is going under tower here. But it is OMG avalanching through EDG.
And this might just be gain. They have Baron. They have 5 members up, and the sustain for the Yuumi as well to keep them healthy. It's only the bot lane of EDG to defend. OMG might have just found the upset.
OMG, they pull out the Shyvana twice in the series. They pull out wins against the world champions, EDG. This will be a disappointment for EDG, but this will be a glorious victory for OMG. They already took down LNG in their first win of the split. Then they took down LGD, and now they take down Edward Gaming.
And the message is clear. Shanji Shyvana cannot be stopped. I was concerned about some things coming to the draft, right? Them going for the Tristana with the potential for Braum coming in, but they don't go for the melee support. They don't go for the engage. They go for the Yuumi, and it panned out perfectly. Triple lanes with prior for EDG, and yet they couldn't do anything. They couldn't find the advantage. And OMG come out with a convincing win.
Viper is devastated, and that is right. That is rightful for this situation, because EDG should not have lost this series, and they do so off the back of some incredible play from OMG. I cannot upstage the fact that they just took it to EDG in a way that I feel like EDG hasn't been tested like that so far.
Yeah, and I mean, the package was fantastic from Creme, like really working with that tool well.
See how happy he was after the game?
Yeah, I mean, they're vibing. This is a great win for them. Bear in mind, the only team to have beaten EDG so far is JDG, who up until FBX took them out, we're undefeated, we're top of the table. So, I mein, this is huge for them. It's a much-needed win. They'll help push them up the standings. They're currently 9th going into this one. I don't think this actually changes their standing at all, surprisingly enough. They will still be 9th, but a little bit closer to being 8th than they were before, at least.
And they took down EDG. The one time these two teams meet, they get to hold that over their head.
And also, it's one of those things where, you know, there's a lot of teams where, like, for example, WE05 at the moment, they're struggling. OMG beating them isn't that big of a deal because, you know, it's one of those ones you expect. But taking a game of EDG, that can make a difference. Bear in mind, OMG didn't make it into playoffs last split. They were 11th. They were the highest placed team not to make it in playoffs. So it could have been wins like this. Getting over against EDG can be the sort of thing that can push you into playoffs this time round. So massive for them. Well deserved. And I think, you know, game 1, very convincing from them. Game 2 was a mess that EDG managed to pull ahead on. And then game 3, it just felt like EDG never got any momentum. And with that composition, they needed it.
They absolutely did. But the momentum was all in favor of OMG. I love that we saw Shanji whip out the Shyvana again 2 more times. Both times OMG knew Abel will be a late game carry, but how do we get them there? It's through this massive dragon in the top lane who can start fights at any pull of the trigger he wants, pretty much. The Dragon's Descent was almost constantly up, even if the other ultis were still down, and it was incredible the way that he piloted this champion because it made EDG force their hands so many times. He was just walking into them. That is incredible.
It's just like, it's like chilling. Oh, bit of a lead. Nah, never mind. The boom.
Bye-bye.
Game over. Yeah.
It's the fireworks. It's the grand finale. Look, it's really high in the sky. You got all the brights and explosions. The fire. I guess it was ice because he was wearing the ice skin of Shyvana. You know?
I mean, Creme, I feel, was the one responsible for the fireworks display in that game. But yeah, EDG, very rough for them. But OMG, this is such a positive. And, you know, I think they can take this forwards. Next series against WE, that should be a win for OMG. They do have some trickier ones further down the line, but this is a good bit of momentum for them.
I will say, I understand, like, I pointed out the whole disparaging fact that Viper is pretty upset about it. But that, for me, watching a competitor, that means a lot to me, right? Like, seeing a player be upset, especially the caliber of Viper, he's going to come back 10 times stronger, right? You're going to have to watch out. He will remember this performance and be like, yo, this cannot happen again. And I think that's super important when you're thinking about the competitor's mindset, especially in the LPL. Like, this win is huge for OMG, but it's also a big lesson for EDG.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it is. I feel like there's a lot of takeaways from this. You know, there's definitely some things they can fix up in the drafting phase,